So the festival takes place every year at the beginning of February, end of January, and it has been going for 37 years now. And it's one of the leading events for digital art and digital culture. And it originally happened here in Germany. It started out as a video festival, which is looking at like digital film, and then it has expanded every year in development or in conversation with technological developments, thinking about how digital culture has changed. And the festival is like one of the very kind of most important kind of highlight events for an international audience that is like looking at questions of technology, society, and culture, and how these things are interlinked. And the way that I would describe the festival is that I feel it's very much a mutating, moving organism that responds continuously to the changes in our society and also to changes in technology.
I mean, like, so it started as a video film festival, video art festival, but now it has like so many different programs like workshops, lectures, conversations, and as you said, it's like expanding every year. Was there any new program that you implemented or anything that you are very proud of?
Well, I think I definitely take more of like a visual art approach, and that's one thing I think is definitely maybe evident in a lot of the things that you would see throughout the festival. And also I'm very interested in kind of very like immersive storytelling, experiential artworks, and I try to kind of create that as an atmosphere as well. I also managed to, with my team, we managed to set up like a residency program over the last 3 years, and this is kind of like a big thing about thinking through the ways in which festivals can become other types of spaces for like longer durations. And so here we are in Transmediale studio in Bedding, and this is actually our home space. And actually what we have been doing here is having events here and also hosting residents here over the year as well. So I think that's kind of been one of the biggest changes that I've definitely brought to the festival, is kind of thinking through like how to create other types of working structures for artists, and how you can have artists feed in different ways of through their own research into the actual kind of festival that happens once a year as well.
So now like it's not only like a few days of festival, but you are also like aiming to like a kind of year-long programs, like residencies and like a workshop with different artists and studio space. Like it's really connecting to the subject of this year, and I was wondering like if the year-long like program would have like a same set of subjects, and how do you decide the subject every year? And if you can, if not, like if you can elaborate this year's theme.
I think for me, when I started out in 2020, I was very interested in creating a new way of looking, a new way of thinking about what digital practices are. And so for me, it was about trying to create kind of an alternative canon to the one that we kind of have kind of inherited and work with now at the moment, or to kind of supplement this kind of canon of what we understand to be media art. And so I've been very interested in kind of like practices from decolonial perspectives, but also from other geographies and other ways of kind of thinking through like materiality and also experience as well. I had like an overarching thesis that I have been kind of like working with. So I have like a 5-year idea in mind, and this is the 4th one. And it was very much about kind of like thinking through like some of the kind of the struggles that we have within kind of cultural politics, and how kind of like art making and society intersect. And so for me, I was very interested in like starting out with like thinking through the socio-political agency of refusal, and then thinking through that like how technology itself has become so widespread and so immersive that actually we also need to think to ideas of scale. And this year then has been focused on ideas of content. So looking at how kind of entertainment has kind of shaped the surveillance system of technology and the propaganda system of technology. So I was looking through how like platforms, social media platforms such as Instagram or TikTok have become kind of like a model of delivery for right-wing fascism, or maybe some things that are like very kind of sexist ideologies, for example, as well. So for me, the festival this year is very much looking at like how our space of online has become so fractured and become so binary and so much in tension and in friction with each other. And the work here that we have commissioned by Jennifer Meehan and Bassam Izzat Al-Sabah is called Uncensored Lilac, and it's a 30-minute film that features a set of goddesses and their entourages, and each one of the goddesses are delivering a monologue in the same way that you might like deliver a monologue to online, like on your social media. And it's been very much thinking through the fact about like in the film they have their bodies have been invaded by climate change. So while they don't understand this, and so they don't understand why they're fundamentally kind of not able to kind of speak to each other. So in the film, the goddesses have they live in a common land or in a common space together, but then they hold no common ground between each other. And so they deliver a set of kind of like apolitical corporate desires into the camera. And then they also kind of take jabs at each other's dreams. And you see kind of like these, this is kind of like a reflection of maybe like influencer culture and also the ways in which we kind of like speak online as well to one another, and how kind of in times of crises it's actually impossible to be 100% right. And the film doesn't offer any type of solution to these things, but rather kind of points to the fact that there's so much friction and tension between things that we should actually have a common place of understanding for.
So like once you took the job as an art director, it's been like a COVID for 3 years, and then this is second year that you are doing the offline events. So I was wondering what would have been and now it's like there's a turmoil in Europe. So what would have been the most challenging part of your job? And then like how you see like the direction the festival take in the future?
Yeah, it's a big question.
Yeah, it is a big question.
I mean, I think it's always like, yes, of course, like a festival of this scale and this size is always hard to put together. But I have an amazing team that is like very experienced. They've been with me since the day that I started, and I've been very lucky that we've managed to like hold on to this team and like grow it in different ways. And so in that case, it's been like really wonderful. And then obviously like every year there are different external circumstances that like force us to react to conditions or force us to kind of like think through like how the festival should be structured or what the festival should respond to. And I think this year the team and the festival structure was very much looking at like performance as a mode of inquiry and a way of delivering like the discourse program and the exhibition program. So like in the festival here downstairs in Betonhale, what we have is a discursive format that is inspired by reality TV and online kind of online culture in a way, and the ways in which we kind of occupy those things in order to kind of perform a set of politics or perform a set of like social relations. And I think for me that I've always been reflecting on how technology is changing us and how technology has been a de facto way of like becoming like such a ubiquitous way of understanding the world, and to critique this because actually it's becoming increasingly unreal in terms of like our expectations of one another through screens, and to basically to maybe be offline a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, so like that was like something that's kind of related to what I wanted to ask for the like as a last question, like what kind of festival like this happens like everywhere in the city, but then if we can call this as a time and place that we share, what kind of place and time you expect or you want the festival to be?
For me, I always wanted to be a place of community and a place of like coming together. I feel very like strongly about the underlying thesis that I have been developing is looking at kind of like new tactics of left collectivity through arts and through culture, and thinking through like what types of like spaces and what ways in which we need to kind of confront and think through our politics and the way in which we make art, for example. So for me, the festival has been very much kind of like grounded in really in trying to make the place friendly, make the place like open to community, and make like have people enjoy it as well. And it's a really difficult thing to do because, you know, the festival is here in Berlin and there's a local community, and then it also has an international community, and they come from all different perspectives and all different types of geographies. And so sometimes that idea of like community is also fractured in a way, and to try and kind of like make a bit of space for kind of like these types of tensions and distances that we have to like our own understandings of communities, and to create kind of like temporary spaces that allow people just to even collectively come together for like a week.